Yes, let's continue the part 2 marathon. Audit reporting only. In the reporting chapter itself, we are now discussing part 2 topic. Just 1 minute. Let me once check the audio. Everything is good or not? Yeah, perfect. Yes. So without any delay, let's continue the discussion. And if you recollect, we have already completed, qualified opinion, adverse opinion discussion with respect to material misstatement found in the financial statements. Now, let me once again discuss the types of opinions. Okay, I hope you already watched, the previous part. Okay, previous continuation. I hope you're watching this continuation reporting topic. So, suppose if the auditor has already obtained sufficient appropriate evidence, material misstatement is existing and not pervasive, qualified. Material misstatement is there and which is also pervasive, we straight away give which opinion? Adverse opinion. And suppose if sufficient appropriate evidence is not obtained, he did not get the evidence. Okay, for what he did not get evidence? For one material item he did not get evidence. It's only material. But is it a substantial item for which he did not get evidence? No, it is not a substantial item. It is only a material item for which you did not get evidence, but not substantial item. You see, very clearly observe the words. Here, when evidence is there, I am using the word MMS word clearly. When evidence is not there, I am not using the word MMS. I am only using the word, is it a material item? Okay, so for a material item, I did not get evidence. Okay, it's a material item, you did not get evidence. Is it a substantial item? No. Possible effect is not substantial. The possible effect is not substantial. Then also we give which opinion? Qualified opinion. Further, we did not get evidence for a material and also substantial item. Then we straight away give which opinion? Disclaimer. And if you observe this if you observe this particular table, we give qualified opinion in two circumstances. We give qualified opinion in two circumstances. Two, nothing but. Okay. We give adverse opinion only in one circumstance. Disclaimer also in one circumstance. And that's why if you see the definition of qualified opinion, it has two parts. Whereas adverse opinion one part, disclaimer of opinion also only one part. The definition of qualified opinion has two parts, disclaimer has one part, and even adverse also has one part. Now let us look at when qualified opinion will be given by us. The auditor will express a qualified opinion when, already we saw in the table also, what is one of the scenario where we give just a minute, where we will give qualified opinion. One scenario is evidence is there, mistake is found, material but not pervasive. Another scenario where we give qualified opinion. By the way, I'm once again telling you, if at all you are feeling speed of my marathon, just reduce it to 0.85x. Just now I listened before I start, just now I just watched my marathon and saw 0.85x. That speed is even more fantastic, where you get even more clarity. Okay, fine. So sufficient appropriate not obtained, and it's a material item where I did not get evidence. And is the possible effect pervasive? No. Then also I'll give which opinion? Qualified. You see, that's why second part of the first part of the qualified opinion definition, you see, the auditor obtained sufficient appropriate evidence, based on sufficient appropriate evidence, concluded that misstatements are material but not pervasive. Like you see here, misstatements we are talking about actual mistakes. Sir, mistakes, no, do we need to see individually or aggregate? Sometimes individually itself mistake is big. Suppose no, individually mistake is not material, but total of mistakes put together is material. Then either individually or aggregate, the misstatements are material but not pervasive. Further, so when a misstatement is material but not pervasive, then we give qualified opinion. Not only that, sir, I am unable to obtain evidence. But I took one conclusion, sir. I took one conclusion. Sir, evidence I did not get. No, can I still give unqualified opinion? No, don't give. Why? Possible effect of undetected misstatement. What is it? Possible effect of undetected misstatements. What is undetected misstatement? Possible effect. Sir, I have not discovered mistake, sir. I have not discovered. You didn't discover mistake. Then how come you say mistake? No, sir. I have not discovered a mistake which is possible, sir. Which is possible. So possible effect of undetected misstatement, if at all, if at all is there, that possibility could be material but not pervasive, sir. Nothing but you are not getting evidence. For example, the company has an inventory lying with third party. The company has inventory which is lying with third party. For example, the Hindustan Unilever has some material amount of inventory with Amazon warehouse. For example, Amazon is a warehouse which is having huge amount of material owned by Hindustan Unilever, and when the auditors of Hindustan Unilever raised a request for confirmation from Amazon warehouse, nobody is responding, and auditor ultimately did not get evidence for that particular inventory which is lying with the third party. This is a case of inability to obtain evidence. I don't have evidence. Can I ignore that inventory and give opinion directly? No, that's a material amount of inventory. Is it substantial inventory? It's not substantial amount. It's a good amount only, but not substantial amount as such. It is not pervasive. Then you have a doubt. You did not get evidence, right? What query you have in your mind? What if it is not there with really Amazon? Companies lying to us, companies cheating us, companies just giving us fake documents, all that. What if this is the scenario? That's why if at all the possibility of undetected misstatement, if at all the possibility, only you check. What if it is really not there? What could be the possible effect? Sir, it is a material item, sir, but not pervasive, sir. If possible effect could be material but not pervasive, then also which opinion? Qualified opinion. Now you understood qualified opinion definitions, right? Two circumstances. Sir, I have evidence. And what evidence you have? Inventory materially misstated, sir. Cost or NRV, whichever is lower, they valued at cost, sir. 100 crore NRV they missed. NRV is 900. 100 crore mistake, sir. I have proof. You have proof. Mistake value how much? Is it material? Yes, sir, it's a material but not pervasive. Then you give qualified. Sir, I don't have evidence, sir. The company is saying Amazon warehouse inventory is there, but I don't have evidence for that. I'm unable to conclude really whether inventory is there or not. Okay, if you ignore that, will it be a problem for you? Yes, sir, obviously it's a material amount of inventory but not pervasive. Then do one thing, give opinion on financials. Everything else you have evidence, right? Yes, sir, I have evidence on every item of the financials except material amount of inventory lying with third party. Then do one thing, you give qualified opinion here also. Suppose first part of the definition, you see, first part of the definition is only same given in adverse opinion also. In qualified opinion, first part of the definition is there, right? The same definition is given for adverse also with one small modification. What is it? And you see here, I will show you. Here it is what? Material but not pervasive. You see here, material but not pervasive. Whereas here, material and pervasive. Suppose, sir, the auditor, based on sufficient appropriate evidence, concluded that misstatements exist, which are material and pervasive. Then we give adverse opinion. Sir, I am unable to obtain evidence, sir. Generally unable to obtain evidence. Just now we saw unable to obtain evidence, and possible effect on financials of undetected misstatements could be material but not pervasive. Then qualified. What if it is instead of but not word, end word is there? Then it is disclaimer of opinion. If major item, substantial item, I am not getting evidence in the balance sheet, how can I give opinion on the balance sheet whether it is true and fair? Are a major item, substantial item, I'm not getting evidence. How can I give opinion? It's impossible for me to give an opinion. I will not give an opinion. Now let us look that scenario. Not give an opinion. Adverse opinion we saw just now, right? Now you see how disclaimer of opinion will be given. Okay, illustration 4 in 705 standard. In your ICAI study material reporting chapter itself, there is a question on this. You see, disclaimer of opinion. What is this illustration? Disclaimer of opinion due to auditor's inability to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence about a single element of consolidated. In a consolidated financials is there? See, tell me, when a company is preparing consolidated financials and standalone financial statements, I have to give opinion. I have to give audit reports separately on standalone, separately on consolidated. There is a section called 129 subsection 4 in Companies Act, which says that if a company is preparing consolidated financials under 129 subsection 3, all the formalities that are applicable for 129 subsection 1 financials, all those formalities will apply equally, mutatis mutandis, to consolidated financials also. Yes or no? You might have seen this in CA Inter Accounts and Accounts chapter. So CA Inter Law Accounts chapter is there. There you might have seen. So on consolidated financials also I should give a separate audit report. Okay, here consolidated financials is there. Single element you did not get. A single item I did not get evidence. What will happen? Single element. Why disclaimer of opinion? That single element is substantial. You see here, that single element, the auditor was not able to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence about a single element only. And that is regarding an investment which is 90% of the net assets. Oh my god, it is only a single element, but that is substantial. Remember, I told you pervasive means what? Substantial. Sir, I have a doubt. Previously you showed adverse opinion, you know, there one subsidiary was not consolidated, because of that multiple items affected, but there is no substantial item. No, hare, even if multiple items in the balance sheet and P&L effect, because if I don't consolidate one subsidiary, every item in the asset, every liability, every income, every expense will affect. That is also substantial. Sir, then what is pervasive, sir? Pervasive can be multiple ways it can be interpreted. Like, first let me show you pervasive meaning. Okay, then we'll continue that illustration. You see, pervasive means what? Pervasive describes impact. It actually talks about impact of a mistake or undetected mistake. Pervasive is talking about impact of a mistake or undetected mistake. Okay, impact, what? That mistake, no, not confined to specific item, not confined to specific account, not confined to a specific item. Sir, it is not related to one item, sir. All the items are affected. Then also pervasive. Or you see, there is another criteria. Or pervasive when also we say if so confined. If so confined means what? Sir, specific item only misstatement there, sir. Specific item only possible misstatement is possible, sir. First one, no, in a specific item it is not. Everywhere it is there. Second point, it may be in specific, which represents substantial portion. So pervasive means, generally what do we think pervasive? All items on the balance sheet affected. No, not necessarily. There can be only one item which is affected, but that one item could be substantial. Third one, pervasive can be in relation to a disclosure. When do we say pervasive? There is third criteria also. Three criteria were there to call that scenario as a pervasive. One, misstatements or possibility of misstatements are there in multiple places, not a specific item, or maybe a specific item but which is substantial item, or relating to disclosures which are fundamental. That's why when you are seeing 570 standard, you might have seen going concern. If any issue comes, adverse opinion we give directly. Why? Going concern is something which is fundamental to the understanding of the users. Therefore, we cannot take it as granted. Going concern, we straight away give a disclaimer. Yes or no, or adverse opinion. If at all going concern, we can't verify, disclaimer. If going concern is missing, we give directly adverse opinion. Fine, don't worry, just a minute. Yes, just a minute. 1 minute. Yeah, I'm just setting one small thing. Okay, yes. Next, now look at, yeah. So that's about pervasive. So what are they saying? Pervasive? Pervasive is something that is not localized to any one or two elements generally, but impact various elements. That is one perspective. Remember, that is one perspective. It is not limited to one item, multiple items, or it may be confined to one item only, but it could represent substantial. Now look at here 705 in ICAI illustration. What they gave here? Just a minute. You see what illustration they gave for with respect to one investment, which is actually 90% of the total assets of the entity. Single item only, investments. In the balance sheet, investments is there, which is just a single item, but it is 90% item. Now what are they saying? The possible effect, what auditors has concluded, the possible effect of inability to obtain evidence is both material and pervasive. Therefore, disclaimer of opinion. You see now how audit reporting is affected. Title is same, addressee is same, and heading itself disclaimer of opinion. Now you see what auditor is trying to tell you. We were engaged to audit. Remember, generally when you are giving adverse opinion, qualified opinion, unqualified opinion, you state that we have audited, whereas here you will make a statement that we were engaged to audit. Very important for MCQ. In MCQ they might test us. So the auditor made a statement like we have audited. No, that statement should not be included. Getting it? What are the contents of opinion para? In case of disclaimer of opinion, you should not make a statement that you have audited. You can only make a statement that you were engaged to audit. Predominant item in the balance sheet, you did not get evidence. Then where did you audit? Yeah, you audited some items, you verified some items, but predominantly substantial item you didn't audit. No, that's it. Now, so we were engaged to audit. That's how you reply. And you see straight away here below, you just see straight away, we do not express opinion on the accompanying financial statements. Straight away we said we do not express opinion. Why? What happened? Because of significance of matter described in basis for disclaimer of opinion section of our report. See, there is a section in our report, basis for disclaimer. Inside that some matter is described. Because of that matter I'm not giving. What matter? You see, basis for disclaimer section. You see, basis for disclaimer, array only one para is there. Generally, basis for adverse opinion, 2 paras are there. Basis for qualified opinion, inside that also 2 paras are there. Unqualified opinion, 1 para is there. What is that 1 para which is common everywhere? We conducted our audit as per standards on auditing. Our audit, we have so many responsibilities. Our responsibilities are further described in auditor responsibility section of our report. We are independent of the company. We fulfilled ethical responsibilities. We believe that the evidence obtained by us is sufficient and appropriate. Those statements will be there, right? I showed you in 700 standard contents of basis for opinion para. State that you conducted audit as per standards on auditing. State that you are independent of the entity. State that you fulfilled ethical requirements. State that the evidence obtained by you is sufficient, appropriate. Refer about auditor responsibility section. 5 points will be there in basis for opinion para. That 5 points will not be there if you are giving disclaimer of opinion. If you are giving disclaimer of opinion, basis for opinion should not contain those 5 statements. Simple. Then what is there? What should be there in basis for disclaimer? Straight away tell why you didn't give opinion. That reason alone you tell me. That's enough. So the group investment is so and so, which is 90%. We were not allowed access to the management of the company, so and so. As a result, we are unable to determine whether any adjustments were necessary in respect of the group. So auditor is clearly explaining why he disclaimed the opinion. Not only that, now let me discuss one more important point. There is a section here. What section? Auditor responsibilities for audit of financial statements. Auditor responsibilities for audit of financials. Remember, auditor responsibility section. Generally, when you are giving unqualified opinion, I will show you how big auditor responsibility section. You see, it will start here. You see the auditor responsibility section, array is so big, almost 2 pages. But when you are giving disclaimer of opinion, remember, auditor responsibility section is same, unqualified, qualified, adverse, same lengthy, 2 pages. But when you are giving disclaimer, just 1 para, that's it, just 2 paragraphs. What is there here? Our responsibility. What is our responsibility? To conduct audit of group financial statements as per standards on auditing. Issue auditor report. Objective as per 200. However, because of the matter covered in basis for disclaimer opinion section, we were not able to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. So our responsibility is to do audit of financials and give a report. But because of matter described in basis for disclaimer section, we were unable to obtain evidence to form a opinion. By the way, remember, we are not giving opinion. No, it is not because of something and all. We are independent only. Don't worry. We complied with all the independent. We fulfilled all the ethical responsibilities. You see how cleverly auditor responsibility section is compressed. When you are giving, see, disclaimer means what? You are not giving opinion. When you are not at all giving opinion, why people want to know your responsibilities? It's none of their business, right? It's not relevant. See, the very reason why you were appointed is to give an opinion, and you are not giving an opinion. When you're not giving an opinion, why your responsibilities people bother about? First of all, because the primary responsibility for you is to give opinion. So you see, by the way, what are all there in auditor responsibility section? You see, generally, what are all? Our objective is to obtain reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but not a guarantee. Yes or no? Misstatements can arise from fraud or error. You see here, various other responsibilities you need to, you as a part of an audit, we exercise judgment, we maintain professional skepticism. Why I am reading? There is a purpose. I will show you one theory question on that, which is a direct question asked many times in exams. Identify and assess risk of MMS, obtain and understand